Welcome to Oppo's new Reno 15 series, and this is the first review of 2026. Hopefully it's a good year for all of you. The important thing is there's a big mess and a lot of confusion around the correct specs of the Reno 15 series, and that's because the global versions that were officially released are different from the Chinese versions. What matters is that this time the series consists of 4 phones: the Reno 15F in the mid-range category, then the regular Reno 15 in the upper mid-range, then the Reno 15 Pro in the flagship killer category, and a brand new phone launching for the first time, the Reno 15 Pro Max, which is also in the flagship killer category. Today, we're going to test together the regular Reno 15 and the Reno 15 Pro and see what's actually new in them. Who was asking for a processor change on the regular Reno? Well, here you go. It's been changed. But the question is, was it changed for something stronger or something weaker? Of course, we also have the old Reno 14 with us, so we can compare it to the new Reno 15 and see where the real upgrade is. And what's the story with this very small Reno 15 Pro? Don't worry, you'll leave this video knowing everything about Oppo's new phones, their advantages and their disadvantages. So now get excited with me, hit that nice like button, and let's start the review. I have the blue color of the regular Reno 15 and the brown color of the Reno 15 Pro. This time I don't have the lighter colors that usually come with a different pattern from Oppo. The important thing is, even though I like these two colors and they're different from the lighter options, and they're supposed to be matte, they still pick up a bit of fingerprints and dust, especially the brown color on the Pro. But anyway, the materials as usual are very premium, a solid glass back and a metal frame. These are the familiar Oppo materials in phones from this series, nice materials and very competitive. The design itself hasn't really changed except for the rear camera module. The third lens was placed inside a clearly round lens. It's a bit small, honestly. There's also the word Reno written in their cool font. On the regular model, the word is written on top and the flash is below, and on the Pro, it's the opposite. The word is at the bottom and the flash is on top. I honestly don't understand why they're reversed. Why not keep them the same? But anyway, the regular model weighs 197 grams and is 7.8 millimeters thick, while the Pro weighs 187 grams and is 8 millimeters thick. The idea with the Pro is its size. It's small. This is considered one of the smallest phones in the flagship killer category right now. Strong specs inside a small body that feels compact and comfortable in the hand. So if you like small phones, this one is for you. The camera bump is not big at all, which is always a nice thing in the Reno series. And of course, there are transparent cases included in the box. These phones are also water resistant with the highest IP ratings, IP68 and IP69, so don't worry about them at all. And of course, there's a dedicated underwater photography mode. Let's move on to the displays. The regular model has a 6.59-inch screen, and the Pro has a 6.32-inch screen. Both are AMOLED with 1.5K resolution and 120 Hz refresh rate. Both have excellent PWM dimming at 3840 Hz, and both support HDR10+, while the Pro also supports Dolby Vision. The displays here are completely flat with very slim bezels. There's no major change in the Reno 15 regular display. It's the exact same display as the old Reno 14. Same shape, same bezels, same specs, same everything. I was expecting slightly higher brightness on the Reno 15 regular, because it's still at 1200 nits. It's not bad and not a disaster, but in the upper mid-range category, we're starting to see higher real-world brightness, so the Reno 15 still keeps its modest brightness under sunlight. As for the Pro, its display is small and very compact, perfect for one-handed use. I know a lot of people don't like small displays. Some people already think the Reno 15 screen is small, so imagine what they'll say about the Pro, which is even smaller. But you need to know this Pro size is made for a specific audience, and if you want the same Pro specs from Oppo but with a bigger display and larger size, you can think about the Pro Max, which is the largest model in the series. The Pro is supposed to have slightly higher brightness than the regular, but honestly, I didn't feel that at all. Even the Pro in the flagship killer category has modest brightness under sunlight, and it's not the brightest in its price range. In short, both displays have excellent colors. Yes, there's nothing new in color quality or calibration, but they were already good to begin with. The displays here are good and solid. The only point I personally have reservations about on both phones is brightness. You can, of course, enable adaptive tone, which adjusts the display colors based on your environment. Both displays are protected with Gorilla Glass 7i, and they come with a screen protector already applied in the box. Now let's talk about performance. Oppo finally changed the processor in the regular Reno 15 and dropped the Dimensity 8350, replacing it with a Qualcomm Snapdragon 7 Gen 4. As for the Pro, it stays the same with a stronger MediaTek processor, the Dimensity 8450. Both phones use fast UFS 3.1 storage, and both run Oppo's new ColorOS 16 based on Android 16 with a promise of 5 years of Android updates. Let's start with the regular Reno 15. Benchmark numbers show that the newer Qualcomm processor is slightly weaker than the older Dimensity in CPU performance. The difference isn't huge, but in GPU performance, the difference is actually big. The Dimensity 8350 was what made the Reno 14 stand out in the upper mid-range category, especially compared to its BBK siblings. Now, the Reno 15 with the Snapdragon 7 Gen 4 uses the same processor found in the Vivo V60 and the Realme 15 Pro, just so you know. The 7 Gen 4's performance is good. It's not a problem and it's not a disaster. Don't think the phone's performance will be bad, not at all. A lot of people have tried this processor and no one really complained. But I honestly don't understand why Oppo did this. Why remove the standout advantage from the regular Reno 15? Was it to reduce costs so the phone doesn't get more expensive? Honestly, I don't know. The important thing is when I tested and compared the Reno 15 with the Reno 14, I didn't feel a major difference in daily performance. App opening speed and general usage are fine, so don't worry. The Reno 15 is still fast and responsive, and the interface is very smooth, especially since Oppo is one of the best Chinese companies when it comes to software optimization. So performance is very good, with no issues, no lag, and no noticeable downgrade compared to the old Reno 14. But if you ask me, the real difference is in GPU power. The older Reno 14's GPU is almost twice as powerful as the Reno 15's. With the Reno 15, you'll now play PUBG at 90 frames. There's no upscaling or pushing to 120 frames like what used to happen on the old Reno 14. Overall, gaming performance on the Reno 15 is now normal, similar to the Vivo V60 and the Realme 15 Pro. So to keep it short, it's no longer exceptional like the old Reno 14. In short, graphics performance in heavy games dropped a bit on the Reno 15. But there's another point, cooling and throttling. These are much better on the Reno 15 compared to the old Reno 14, thanks to using a Qualcomm processor that doesn't heat up as much. The phone doesn't need to aggressively lower clock speeds. Performance stays stable for long periods under load, unlike the old Reno 14, which used to throttle hard and heat up under pressure and heavy gaming. Let me give you a quick summary, because I feel like I might have lost you. The regular Reno 15 matches and equals the old Reno 14 in normal daily usage. You won't feel any problem or difference between them. But the old one is better for heavy gaming, while the new one is better in cooling and throttling, with less performance drop. As for the Reno 15 Pro, it comes with the same processor used in last year's Pro generation, the Dimensity 8450. It's a good processor, not bad at all. The phone is fast and responsive, and you won't feel any issues in daily use. But you need to know this phone belongs to the flagship killer category, and in this category there are phones with stronger processors, like the Honor 400 Pro and the Xiaomi 15T Pro. Both of those have processors that are a bit stronger than what's inside the Reno 15 Pro. That said, credit where credit is due, Oppo managed to pack these strong specs in a small body. Don't forget, this phone is small, smaller than most flagship killers I'm talking about. But this extra compact size did affect the cooling system. Under heavy load, the processor heats up a bit and throttles noticeably. It might be the flagship killer that throttles the most that I've tested recently. It's understandable though, because of its small size. Still, the phone runs PUBG at 120 frames officially with no issues or stutters at all. The fingerprint sensors on both phones are under the display, and their performance is very fast and excellent, as usual with Oppo phones. You get everything you want: an extra microphone, NFC, an IR sensor, and many cool and stylish always-on display designs that you can customize and keep always on if you want to. Both phones have a real proximity sensor that turns the screen off when you put it to your ear during calls, with no issues. As for sound, the regular Reno 15 has loud audio, and even when you boost it to 300%, sound quality doesn't degrade at all. The Pro is excellent too. There's no weakness in sound quality here, especially considering its small size. Honestly, I really like the speakers, and in terms of cellular signal and Wi-Fi strength, both phones are excellent, no complaints at all. Now let's talk about battery. The regular model's battery got bigger. It's now 6,500 milliamp hours, 500 milliamp hours larger than the old Reno 14. The Pro has 6,200 milliamp hour battery, which is the same battery as the previous generation, but in a smaller body and with a smaller display. My experience with battery life here has been very good. I felt about 10% improvement compared to the previous generation. In short, these phones will easily last until the end of the day without charging, and they can even make it into the start of the second day with moderate usage. As for charging speed, you get the familiar 80 watts charger in the box for both phones, and it charges them very quickly if you enable fast charging. Unfortunately, because of its small size, the Pro no longer supports wireless charging. To get Oppo's 50 watts wireless charging, you'll need to go for the larger 15 Pro Max.
Now let's take a look at the cameras. Both phones have 3 cameras on the back, but there are differences. The main camera on the regular model is 50 megapixels with an f1.8 aperture and optical stabilization, while on the Pro it's 200 megapixels with an f1.8 aperture and optical stabilization. Both phones share the same telephoto zoom lens, 50 megapixels with an f2.8 aperture and optical stabilization, responsible for true 3.5x optical zoom, or 85 millimeters, and it goes up digitally to 120x. The ultra-wide camera is different. On the regular model, it's 8 megapixels, and on the Pro, it's 50 megapixels. Both phones also share the same new selfie camera, 50 megapixels with an f2.0 aperture using a Samsung GN5 sensor. The idea here is that it's now wider. The field of view expanded to 100 degrees. Both phones shoot portraits at 1x and 2x using the main camera, and 3.5x using the telephoto camera. They also shoot video up to 4K at 60 frames with Dolby Vision or HDR on both the rear and front cameras. There are 2 new AI features added to the cameras in the new Reno 15 series. The first one is AI Motion Photo, which is an evolution of the old Live Photo. When you enable it while shooting, you get a short video clip around the moment of capture, just like Live Photo, but now you can control that clip in a more professional way. You can make part of it or all of it slow motion, select exactly the section you want, and save it. This requires you to be connected to a network because it uploads to external servers and all that. You can then save it, use it, or convert it into a video or a slow motion GIF and use it normally. What's even cooler is that you can take 2 or 3 clips and combine them into a single image, a feature called AI Motion Pop-up. You go into the gallery, select the clips you want to combine, choose the frame style you like from a lot of very cool options, and then you can even change the position or zoom movement of the video itself. The 3 slow motion clips you just created move together. You can make them loop, and in the end you get a very cool final image. You can also save it as a video or a GIF and use it. Honestly, I really liked this feature. The second feature added is called Portrait Glow, and it's useful for night photography. You can control the lighting on your face only, making it brighter without blowing out the entire image. It's a nice and genuinely useful feature. Tell me what you think right now about the new AI features in the Reno 15 series cameras. Now, let's put all of that aside and look at the actual camera experience on the new Reno 15 series. To be clear, let's test the cameras of the old Reno 14 next to the new Reno 15 to see the difference between them, and also include the more expensive Reno 15 Pro to see if it's worth it or not. Let's start with the first section. Portrait photography. First portrait shot in sunlight, 1x portrait. The Pro is slightly wider because the lens itself is wider, but as an image, all 3 phones are excellent. This is a 2x portrait. I honestly don't see major differences. Let's zoom in. Do you see a difference? Because I don't. Okay, 3.5x portrait. Here, the Reno 15 skin processing is slightly better than the Reno 14, but still not a huge wow level difference. Here's another shot in sunlight, 2x portrait. How are they this close? This is a 3.5x portrait, and here you can see a difference in processing between the 15 and the 14. You feel like the 15 is slightly better in coloring. Now in the shade, 2x portrait, the contrast is just a bit higher on the 15 compared to the 14, and at 3.5x portrait, there's a processing and coloring difference between the 15 and the 14. As for the 15 Pro, it's clearly better in subject separation. This is a set of random portrait shots at 2x and 3.5x on all three phones. Tell me what you see. The Reno 14 and 15 use the same camera sensors, only the processor changed, so the difference in camera experience between them isn't major. When lighting drops, I feel like the Reno 15, before taking the shot, looks like it has the weakest camera while you're composing the image, even weaker than the Reno 14. But after the picture is captured, there's heavy processing applied, and the result ends up close to the old Reno 14. Let's turn on the flash with portrait shots. Flash usage is supposed to be improved on the new Reno phones compared to the old ones. You can feel that in this 3.5x portrait photo. The Reno 14 looks a bit harsh, while the new Reno 15s don't. Now let's go outside in the dark. The lighting here is really bad, guys. The Reno 15's AI steps in aggressively to improve and even draw facial features. The Reno 15 Pro doesn't need to draw details as much because its details are already clearer, and the image is brighter thanks to the stronger main sensor. So let me summarize this part quickly. The regular Reno 15 as a camera is not very different from the Reno 14 in portrait photography. The results are very close. As for the 15 Pro, it's stronger mainly because the sensor is larger, so details look more natural without aggressive AI intervention to redraw or reconstruct the image. In general, the 15 Pro's advantage shows more clearly in video recording, which we'll see in a bit. As for regular photography with the main camera, buildings, landscapes, cars, plants, honestly, you need 20/20 vision to spot differences. I don't have 20/20 vision, so help me out here. Oppo uses the same image processing engine across all three phones, so results are very similar. Nice photos, good HDR, moderate coloring, not overly boosted, not washed out, very natural overall. In low light, the Reno 15's processing is a bit different. The white balance tends to be slightly bluish, while the Reno 14 and 15 Pro lean more warm, and in reality, the scene was a bit warm. As for zoom, all three phones use the exact same zoom lens with the same sensor. At close zoom levels up to around 20x, they're all good, with clear details you can easily see. But when you zoom far, 50x, 60x, and all the way to 120x, you'll find the AI is basically drawing the image completely. Night zoom on all three phones is very close and very similar. These cameras honestly confused me a lot, but after using them for a long time, here's the conclusion. The regular Reno 15 cameras are here to continue the legacy of the old Reno 14, offering a very good and very balanced camera experience in the upper middle ground category. As for the Reno 15 Pro, it's more expensive and sits in the flagship killer category. You will feel a difference between it and the regular 15, mainly in video recording, thanks to the stronger main sensor and the more powerful processor. In pictures, the differences aren't big, and not everyone will even notice them. As for selfies, you now get a completely new selfie experience with a wide 100 degrees, 18 millimeters wider across the entire new Reno 15 series compared to the old Reno 14 series. But the sensor itself is the same Samsung GN5. It didn't change, so detail levels are very similar. The main difference is in processing. Skin tones tend to be slightly brighter on the Reno 15. That's what I noticed. And it's clear that the Reno 15 Pro's selfie has slightly stronger processing than the regular Reno 15. Overall though, Reno selfies are still excellent and very competitive, whether in the upper middle ground category with the regular Reno 15 or in the flagship killer category with the Reno 15 Pro. I'll leave you now with video recording. As for video recording, I'm now filming with the regular Reno 15 and the Reno 15 Pro. I'm not comparing them directly, I just want to see the difference in video quality between them. Of course, the Pro has a stronger processor and a better main sensor, so it should deliver better video quality. It's a flagship killer, not an upper middle ground phone like the Reno 15. So let's test video quality and see if there's a big difference between them, or if the Reno 15 is good enough and the Pro isn't that much better. We'll also look at details, dynamic range. Now let's switch to the 3.5x zoom lens on both phones. You can see a slight difference in video processing here, but let's watch both videos side by side on the same screen to judge properly. Now let's test night video recording with both phones together on the same street we're filming in. The lighting here is really not great. It's clear that the Pro's details are better, thanks to the larger and better 200-megapixel sensor and the stronger processor. Let's take a closer look. Yes, in terms of details, the Pro is much better than the regular model. Again, I'm not comparing them head-to-head, I just want to show you the difference in camera quality between the Reno 15 and the Reno 15 Pro.
Now let's switch to the zoom lens on both phones and see the shooting quality in these tough conditions. As for selfie video, the new wide-angle lens is really nice, great for photos and also nice for video. It's wide and looks good. Now let's see if there's a difference in selfie video quality. In theory, both phones use the exact same sensor, but the processor is different, so processing might differ. I feel like skin tones are a bit more beautified on the Pro compared to the regular model, even though I've turned off all filters and effects. As for night selfie video, I'm now filming with both phones on our dark street. Let's see the quality. Is the Pro much better than the regular model? And what's going on with the exposure constantly shifting on the regular model? Is that really happening or what? I've turned on the flash on both phones, so let's see the final result for selfie video recording quality. As for pricing, the regular Reno 15, 256GB and 12GB RAM for $550. The Reno 15 Pro, 512GB and 12GB RAM for $750.
All prices mentioned are approximate estimates, meant to give you a general idea. Please check local prices in your country for accuracy.
And yes, you can run 2 SIM cards. You can't install a memory card, and you can use eSIM on both phones. And there's something I noticed on the small SIM tray of the Reno 15 Pro, you can accidentally poke the microphone because the tray hole isn't clearly marked. Not a great move, but I mean, it's small, so yeah. My final opinion, the Reno 15 series didn't get a big upgrade or major development compared to the old Reno 14 series. Look, in short, the Reno series specifically from Oppo is very successful. So Oppo basically didn't stress too much and said we don't need a big upgrade, especially since we've reached a stage of philosophy, a formula that's working really well. The regular Reno 15 is basically the old Reno 14 with no differences, except for the Qualcomm processor difference that I explained to you with a slightly bigger battery and a slightly wider selfie camera. So if you have a Reno 13 or a Reno 14, don't upgrade and buy the Reno 15. As for the Reno 15 Pro, it's aimed at a specific user, someone who wants a flagship killer, a phone with fairly strong specs, but in a small size that feels compact in the hand. And I know not everyone is like that. It's a very small group. The phone really is small and very nice for one-handed use. And in terms of specs, it's good, but it's still one level below the typical flagship killer phones, especially because it doesn't support wireless charging and its brightness isn't the strongest. Those are the two biggest things I noticed in my experience. But I'll say again, for its small size, it's good. It has a little bit of an iPhone 17 regular vibe, but of course it's much cheaper. And that's it. I'm done with the video. I've finished everything I needed to say. Make sure you hit that nice like if you didn't at the beginning, and leave me a comment and tell me what you think about what Oppo did with the new Reno 15 series. Do you think this series will continue its success after the Reno 13 and 14, or do you think competing phones will have a different opinion? So let's see what happens this year, because these are considered the first new phones of 2026. Don't forget to leave me a comment so we can discuss the new series together, and make sure you're subscribed if this is your first time watching us on YouTube. Turn on the bell so you catch new phone reviews and comparisons as soon as they drop.